It's that time of the year again when Canonical starts off the development cycle of the next major Ubuntu Linux release. In this case, Ubuntu 22.04 LTS, Jammy Jellyfish, and daily builds are available for download. Under developer Steve Langasic was the one to announce earlier this week that the upcoming Ubuntu 22.04 LTS Jammy Jellyfish operating system is officially open for development with Python 3.10 supported by default. And now, early adopters and the application developers interested in test driving the upcoming release can download the daily builds for Jammy Jellyfish, which you can grab from Ubuntu's main download servers. Besides Ubuntu, which offers desktop flavors for 64-bit and ARM64 architectures, you will also find daily builds for the Kubuntu, Subuntu, Lubuntu, Ubuntu Mat, Ubuntu Budgie and Ubuntu Kylin flavors. As usual, these daily builds are based on the previous Ubuntu release, Ubuntu 21.10 Impish Inri. This means that they are based on the Linux 5.13 kernel and features mostly the same package versions, artwork and desktop environment. During the development cycle of Ubuntu 22.04 LTS, we expect to see some of the newest new Linux technologies and open source software, starting with the transition to OpenSSL 3.0, Go 1.18, Ruby 3.0, DPDK 21.11 and OpenLDAP 2.6. I also hope to see new Ubuntu desktop installer written in Google's Flutter SDK, as well as the GNOME 42 desktop environment, which is for release on March 23, 2022, and the Linux 5.17 kernel series, which should arrive in early March if my math is correct. If you want to keep up with the development of Ubuntu 22.04 LTS Jammy Jellyfish during its 6 months long development cycle, I recommend you to subscribe to 9 to 5 Linux channel, as I will try to cover all its major changes until the final release on April 21st, 2022. Ubuntu 22.04 won't be released in stable form until 2022. To be more precise, it will be officially available in April of that year. After all, that is what the 22.04 indicates, a 2 digits year followed by a 2 digit month. Of course, before the official release, there will be a beta and other pre-releases versions. If you like living on the edge, however, you can actually download and install Ubuntu Linux 22.04 immediately. Yes, daily builds, which are very early versions of the upcoming operating system, are starting today. What do we know about Ubuntu Linux 22.04? At this point, not much. With that said, the codename is not a mystery. It will be called Jammy Jellyfish. More importantly, it will be an LTS version. This stands for long-term support and indicates it will be officially supported until at least 2027. You can download a daily build of Ubuntu Linux 22.04 LTS Jammy Jellyfish from the official website. Before you install it, please know that bugs are a guarantee at such an early stage in the development, and you shouldn't run it on your main PC to be safe. Installing it on a spare computer or virtual machine would be probably be best. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out. you.